Are we living in a Keir Starmer dictatorship? Rumours were swirling that Labour was going to cancel the local elections in England.
Why aren't they all going ahead?
And I would say, even before the white paper has been published,
maybe there's a problem with the line. Why aren't they going ahead, Minister?
Well, at the moment, the assumption is that elections are going ahead. However, it's usual in a process of reorganisation that when a council makes a request for reorganisation, that if there are elections taking place to a council that it essentially won't exist within the term of those elections, then you hold off the elections and you elect to a shadow body, and the shadow body basically is a form of the new councils that will follow.
And now we appear to have confirmation on this. Some local elections due to take place in May next year might now be delayed until 2027. Labour says that they want to postpone them because they're restructuring the councils. Some might not exist in a couple.
Keir Starmer's Christmas is turning into a true political nightmare. His proposal for peace talks with Ukraine has flopped spectacularly, and Labour Party donors are swiftly pulling back their support. Starmer's remarks about Ukraine have sent shockwaves through British politics. He suggested that Ukraine might need to relinquish part of its territory to end the war, seemingly forgetting that Russia is the aggressor. This notion, to say the least, sparked a furious backlash. The response was immediate and intense. Starmer's allies scrambled to defend him, while his opponents seized the opportunity to strike. The Tories accused him of being too lenient on Putin, and even some Labour MPs visibly taken aback by his position. The Labour Party found itself in utter chaos. Reports emerged of heated debates in Westminster, with some MPs outraged that Starmer had jeopardized years of cross-party support for Ukraine. Others were simply baffled by his comments, questioning whether he had consulted anyone before making such statements. Starmer's team offered a mixed response, claiming he had been misquoted. Overall, the situation is escalating and Starmer's future hangs in the balance.
Do you know what the average age of death with COVID is? According to official national statistics, it's 82 years and 3 months. The average age of death normally, 81 years. Do you understand that we because old people are dying? Do you see this graph? The last time we had this much death was 2008. That's the British Medical Journal. No, I came here to speak to this man, not your security. You have failed me.
Thank you.
I've been a Labour voter my entire life. You have failed to be the opposition. You have failed to ask whether lockdown was functioning. Do you understand? Thousands of people have died because you have failed to do your job and ask the real question.
Sources indicate that the Labour Party has already lost over £5 million, delivering a significant blow to their election budget. Advertising campaigns and ground operations, all these crucial elements require substantial financial investment. Right now, the Labour Party's treasury appears quite depleted. In light of this, an emergency party meeting was convened. Starmer found himself in a tough spot. He urgently needed a win, but desperation and frustration in politics often lead to grave mistakes, and he was teetering on the edge of making a serious error. Pressure was mounting from all directions. Labour MPs were anxious, the opposition was sharpening its knives, and Kemi Badenoch likely felt confident about her chances. Given the critical financial situation of the Labour Party, Starmer needed a victory. The Christmas address, a tradition for UK leaders, seemed like a perfect opportunity. But could this festive occasion have serious repercussions? Spoiler alert, it certainly did. Starmer announced that he would deliver a Christmas message to the nation. Typically, such speeches are straightforward, offer holiday greetings, say something uplifting about unity, and that's it. However, Starmer managed to turn it into a political quagmire. Rumours spread rapidly. Starmer's team debated the content of the message. Some insisted he addressed the issue of Ukraine, while others deemed it a mistake.
Well, I am telling you now, and I hope this goes out, you have failed this country. You have seriously failed. You have allowed our children to wear masks in school when it's never been any evidence for it.
On the front line, keeping people alive. So I really don't need lectures from you about this pandemic.
You've got one. Why? Can we come in? Okay. It bloody is exciting for a Monday. I'm sorry, I am the landlord. He's the landlord. That man is not allowed in my pub. It's the landlord. I'm not going to physically hurt him. That man. That's assault. I am not bothering you. I am not bothering him. That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on.
Calm yourself down.
Get out of my pub.
Calm down.
Sorry.
The spokesman even attempted to assert that Starmer had always maintained a consistent stance on Ukraine, but this failed to persuade many. The fallout from his remarks extended far beyond politics and struck him like a thunderbolt. A source close to one of the major donors to the Labour Party revealed that they were reconsidering their support due to Starmer's comments on Ukraine. This potential loss of funding has only intensified the already significant damage, undermining the party's foundations. In reality, Starmer's misstep regarding Ukraine infuriated his allies, empowered his opponents, confused his own party, and put Labour's financial backing at risk. It was a serious political blunder that left him exposed to further attacks from adversaries. Starmer's error concerning Ukraine could prove to be extremely costly for the Labour Party, and this sentiment is growing stronger by the day. As for the repercussions, donations could amount to millions. One prominent Labour donor threatened to withdraw funding because of Starmer's remarks. This was not just an empty threat, they were serious, and they were not alone. An increasing number of donors began to pull their support, placing the Labour Party headquarters in a precarious situation. The party's already challenging financial circumstances are now in grave jeopardy. They have been working diligently to catch up with the Tories in fundraising, but this turmoil threatens to erase all the progress they had made. Their ambitious plans for the upcoming elections now appear highly uncertain and precarious.
Just getting back to this defence budget, Starmer knew he wasn't going to put that up. I don't care what anyone says. He will have predicted, he'll have enough experts whispering in his ear and saying this is the situation. He more than implied that, the defence departments were going to get a fair share of money. They were going to be up in the ante. There was going to be new investment with them, bearing in mind the decline they've been in for the last 12 years or so, and it ain't going to happen. And you know what? He knew it wasn't going to happen. That almost verges on lies.
An anonymous source has disclosed alarming information that could potentially destabilize British politics and trigger genuine panic among the primary sponsors of the Labour Party. These donors don't simply write checks for amusement, they aim to exert influence and back a true winner. Currently, Starmer appears increasingly less like someone capable of achieving success. A group of prominent Labour Party sponsors has issued an ultimatum to Starmer: change direction or step down. They are demanding that he publicly retract his comments on Ukraine, reorganize his team, and adopt a more centrist approach, all within a week. Starmer's team is in a state of turmoil. On one hand, they rely on the party's financial backing, while on the other, they grapple with the principles they profess to uphold.
So these local elections were seen as a referendum on Keir Starmer's government. He's currently the most unpopular Prime Minister of modern times, with an approval rating of somewhere in the region of -61. And this graph actually shows just how quickly his popularity has nosedived. He is sinking like the Titanic, and Labour are fearful of a monumental kicking in May. Angela Rayner has tried to spin this. She says this is all part of devolution and she's giving power back to the communities. Well, Reform MP Rupert Lowe struck back, stating the bleeding obvious. You don't give power back to communities by cancelling elections, Angela. This is unbelievably rich coming from Labour. Over the weekend, Labour's very own Baroness Harriet Harman was all over the media, saying that Nigel Farage and Reform were a threat to democracy.
They even claimed that he donned a Santa costume. Some were eagerly awaiting an explanation, while others simply wanted to hear a straightforward and heartfelt holiday message. When Starmer appeared on screen, his awkwardness was unmistakable. He began by extending warm Christmas wishes, but then everything took a turn for the worse. He fumbled while trying to clarify his comments on Ukraine, muddled the Labour Party's tax policy, and even suggested that Christmas is a time for giving, just as we should give peace a chance in Ukraine. At that moment, you could almost hear the collective groan of disbelief from across Britain. What on earth does he mean by that? Labour Party representatives were left in utter shock. Social media erupted with memes and opposition parties gleefully shared videos that showcased his blunder. Even Labour supporters shrank back in embarrassment. As the criticism mounted, Starmer's team scrambled to contain the fallout, but a more serious issue was looming. An unexpected ultimatum was about to land on Starmer's desk, making the failure of his Christmas address seem trivial by comparison. The Labour Party is facing a significant crisis and its leadership is under unprecedented threat.
The truth is, he didn't think this through. Cutting winter fuel payments isn't just callous. It may not make savings. It could actually cost us all more. And that's not the only policy which is making things worse. The Chancellor's budget is a body blow to family businesses and also charities. Marie Curie have warned that Labour's budget will cost them nearly £3 million a year. This is a cancer charity saying they have no option but to reduce services. Did the Chancellor tell the Prime Minister that her jobs tax was going to hit
Starmer's options are severely constrained. He could refuse the donors' demands, but without their financial backing, Labour's chances of winning the election would be at serious risk. Alternatively, he could acquiesce, which would put him at risk of becoming a puppet controlled by his sponsors. This situation is fundamentally different from the previous financial issues faced by the Labour Party. This time it involves donors attempting to impose their terms on the party leadership, representing a new level of influence that threatens the very foundations of the party. Starmer has convened an emergency meeting of the shadow cabinet, likely to be attended by ambitious politicians eyeing his position. The clock is ticking, and the pressure from all sides is reaching a boiling point. Starmer is poised to make a decision, but will it be the right one? Or is this the beginning of the end for his leadership? The political drama is far from over, and the Tories are likely relishing every moment as they watch the situation unfold. See you next time.